run using mufflers, potentially in select races, in efforts to curb rubber buildup in the wheel wells. Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, and Ross Chastain will be among the drivers testing the mufflers today. Seven-time champion Jimmy Johnson returned to the seat during the first day of the session yesterday, part of NASCAR's select driver orientation rules with the next-gen car, which limits the amount of tires he can use, data on the car, and crew members working on it. I'm Kyle Rickey. This is NASCAR Hot Pass on the Motor Racing Network.
The following is a production of the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. The Motor Racing Network presents NASCAR Live.
This is the race for the win of the Daytona 500, fields in three.
Earnhardt swings up to the top of Rick Mass, the left car on the bottom of the racetrack. Dale Earnhardt puts on the block. Earnhardt slips off turn 4, back to the checkered flag.
Earnhardt in front of Bobby Labonte, a left car to the inside. Rusty Wallace, Big Dad Mayfield and Labonte banging for second to the stripe. Dale Earnhardt comes to the white flag and the caution flag, and Dale Earnhardt is going to win the Daytona 500 in his 20th try. It'll be Earnhardt coming to the stripe, finally eluding the one prize in NASCAR racing that has eluded him the most over his illustrious career.
20 years of hard work, I tell you. Thank the good Lord for a good day. I tell you, we got a lot of great race fans, a lot of people behind me that really all week long they say, this is your week, this is your week.
NASCAR Live is brought to you by Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief, the official pain relief cream of NASCAR. It works fast and you won't stink. And by Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com. From the MRN studios in Concord, North Carolina, here is your host, Kyle Rickey.
Welcome into another edition of NASCAR Live. Kyle Rickey with you for the next 60 minutes as we begin to look ahead to the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series season with the Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum now just over a week away. As we continue to celebrate NASCAR's 75th anniversary, we'll flash back to the iconic 1998 running of the Great American Race. Ryan Blaney sits down with Mike Bagley. We begin our team-by-team previews for the 2023 season. Today, the Ford contingent is on tap with deep dives on Team Penske, Stewart Haas Racing, Roush Fenway Keselowski, and Front Row Motorsports, and a whole lot more. But first, Jason Toy is here with a check of the latest headlines. Jason?
Kyle, two Cup champions will be working together. Todd Gordon will crew chief for Jimmy Johnson in all of his NASCAR Cup Series starts for Legacy Motor Club in 2023. Gordon won a championship atop Joey Logano's pit box in 2018 and is looking forward to working with a champ once again.
Jimmy and I have very similar kind of thoughts on this, that we both have a passion to race, but don't want the grind to bury the families. And, you know, this was an ideal situation for me to come back and get a little bit of the racing bug. You know, as it's this right now, my involvement's going to be with the 84 team and getting those 5 races done.
Legacy also announced an extension for crew chief Dave Ellens, who will continue to work with Eric Jones and the 43 team. Tyler Reddick, a two-time NASCAR Xfinity Series champion, will race select events in the series for Sam Hunt Racing in 2023. Reddick's first race behind the wheel will be at the Auto Club Speedway in February. The rest of his schedule and sponsorship have yet to be announced. After Scott Miller left the position to become NASCAR's newly formed role of competition strategist, the organization is replacing him with former Cup Series driver Elton Sawyer as the senior vice president of competition. Sawyer joined the company in 2015 and in his new role will oversee all aspects of on-track competition, officiating, inspection, and rule development. And with the Busch Clash approaching, the man who will wave the green flag has been selected. USC quarterback and Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams will serve as the honorary starter at next week's event in the LA Coliseum. Kyle?
All right, thank you very much, Jason. Coming up, we flash back to one of the most famous races in the history of the sport, the 1998 Daytona 500. And later, Ryan Blaney joins us.
MRN Classic Races.
Ricky Rudd wins the Budweiser at the Glen.
Covering over 50 years of NASCAR racing on the Motor Racing
Here
Network.
comes Junior to the bottom. Dale Earnhardt Jr. ducks low on Stewart. They bang a bit in 3. Earnhardt is there. They bang again in 4.
Jeff Bodine is going to lead the first lap of the Busch 500. Dale Earnhardt is going to win the Daytona 500 in his 20th try. Trying to maintain that lead as he moves off turn 2.
MRN Classic Races available on your favorite podcast platform.
Look around you. There's history being made. Has been.
He's done.
Will be. Something about those blue skies, high banks and high speed, all coming together in one perfect race. And it'll be here sooner than you think. The Daytona 500 at Daytona International Speedway, February 19th, 2023. Get your tickets now at Daytona500.com.
We flash back to one of the defining races in the history of NASCAR, the 1998 Daytona 500. This is NASCAR Live on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
This is NASCAR Live. Now, back to Kyle Rickey.
Welcome back to NASCAR Live. We are less than 1 month away from the 2023 Daytona 500 on February 19th as we continue to count down to the 65th running of the Great American Race. We're flashing back to some of the best moments it has had to offer. Today we're going back to 1998 and the 40th Daytona 500, where everything finally went right for Dale Earnhardt after 20 years of trying. Kurt Becker has more.
The hype surrounding the start of the 1998 NASCAR Cup Series season was higher than it had ever been. The series was embarking on its 50th anniversary celebration, and while nostalgia was abundant, so was debate, as NASCAR released its list of the 50 greatest drivers in the history of the sport as chosen by an independent panel. The youngest name on that list was Jeff Gordon. In 1997, Gordon had won his second Cup Series championship and his first Daytona 500. He entered Speed Weeks 1998 as an overwhelming favorite to win another edition of the Great American Race. But he had plenty of competition from legends of the sport who were still looking for their first Harley J. Earl trophy.
Rusty Wallace takes the lead on the backstretch, dropping help from his brother Kenny. Now Bill Elliott goes by as Wallace leads to 3.
Rusty and Kenny Wallace, 1 and 2 as they come around the final time into turn number 4. As a matter of fact, give Rusty Wallace 3 car lengths off turn 4.
Jeff Gordon is on the apron of the racetrack, not even up to speed, as down to the start-finish line comes Rusty Wallace to win the 1998 Bud Shootout.
Speed Weeks began with Rusty Wallace finally getting an elusive first win at Daytona in the exhibition Bud Shootout race. In qualifying for the event, another storyline emerged, with Joe Gibbs Racing's Bobby Labonte winning the pole for the race, with his older brother Terry earning the second starting position to make it an all-Labonte front row. In Thursday's Gatorade 125 qualifying races, a 2-time Daytona 500 winner took the first event, while a driver preparing to start his 20th edition of the Great American Race took the second.
The front 3 tighten up as everybody scrambles into turn number 3 behind. They begin to pull away. Here they come. Sterling Marlin leads the pack off the 4th corner to the checkered flag.
The race for the transfer spot has been scrambled by the crash in the middle of the pack. To the stripe goes Sterling Marlin comes. He'll win the first of the Gatorade 125s over Dale Jarrett and Bobby Labonte, who will finish 2nd and 3rd. Caution, and here comes the race to the win in the Gatorade 125. It's going to be Earnhardt to the stripe, and the caution and white flags at the same time for the 9th straight year. Dale Earnhardt is going to win his Gatorade 125-mile qualifying race at Daytona.
Speed Weeks had fully set the stage with a huge list of contenders. From Gordon to the Labonte brothers to Sterling Marlin and Dale Earnhardt, the outcome of the race, as is usual with the 500, was difficult to predict. All of that led to Bobby and Terry Labonte leading the field to the green flag, thrown by one of the National Football League's best, Dan Marino.
Field coming off turn number 4 now, down for the start of the 1998 Daytona 500. 43 drivers ready to run 200 laps today. $7 million at the end of the day to be passed out. Pace car along pit road. Field in command of the Labonte brothers as we're ready for the start.
Moving down the line, Dan Marino will drop the green flag, and we are underway in the Daytona 500.
The younger Labonte led the opening 14 laps of the event before the winners of the twin 125s took turns at the point.
Now Sterling Marlin gets up alongside Bobby Labonte. Now the Pontiac of Bobby Labonte down to the inside. He'll slide behind Sterling Marlin. Sterling Marlin takes the lead of the Daytona 500.
Earnhardt dives down to the bottom of the racetrack and grabs the lead. The battle is on for second. Bobby Labonte to the top of the banking, working on Sterling Marlin. He gets by. Now here comes Colt for third.
Off turn number 4, it'll be Dale Earnhardt now taking over the point of the 500 with Bobby Labonte still in second.
The defending champion of the series and of the event would make his presence known when he took the lead on lap 59.
The man who's going to get the race lead by the time they get back up to speed is going to be Jeff Gordon. Looks like Gordon will take over the lead in the Daytona 500 for the first time of the day.
Gordon would stay up front for nearly 50 laps in a caution-free first 100 laps of the race. In fact, the race would stay green until lap 126. The yellow finally flew when Ward Burton cut a tire and littered the track with debris in turn 3.
Caution flag waving on the speedway. There's a car in trouble in turn 4.
Alan, it's Ward Burton. He's got a right front tire cut down, just limping his way back to the pit, smoke billowing off of his machine as he heads toward pit road.
After that caution period, Earnhardt resumed control of the lead, and the race continued its blistering pace until the first accident of the event brought the caution flag out for the second time.
Oh, trouble off turn 2. John Andretti makes contact with Robert Presley.
They were trying to pass the lapped cars, and as Andretti drove down to the inside of Presley, they made contact and now spin down the back straightaway to the infield safety.
Caution is on the speedway. It will come out at lap 172.
With just over 20 laps left in the event, another caution flag put the spotlight on the pit crews, with Earnhardt's crew keeping him out front. As the laps in the race wound down, hardly anyone at Daytona International Speedway was sitting down. Anticipation was building that Dale Earnhardt would finally win the Daytona 500. But with the late race misfortune that the Intimidator had encountered in years past, nothing was certain. After lap 198, 2 lapped cars got together and brought out the caution flag, leaving Earnhardt, Bobby Labonte, and a young Jeremy Mayfield to race back to the yellow flag and ultimately the win in the 40th Daytona 500.
Oh, there's trouble off the turn. One car slides down to the inside at his late speed. He makes contact with John Andretti. Both cars spin down to the inside of the racetrack as everyone else gets away.
This is the race for the win of the Daytona 500. Fields in 3.
Earnhardt swings up to the top of Rick Mass, the left car on the bottom of the racetrack. Dale Earnhardt puts on the block. Earnhardt slips off turn 4, back to the checkered flag.
Earnhardt in front of Bobby Labonte. A lap car to the inside. Rusty Wallace make that Mayfield and Labonte banging for second to the stripe. Dale Earnhardt comes to the white flag and the caution flag, and Dale Earnhardt is going to win the Daytona 500 in his 20th try. It'll be Earnhardt coming to the stripe.
We're celebrating our 50th season of Coach's Corner on WSLM Radio and ready to take you into the WSLM Sports Zone. Coach's Corner is your chance to get to know your local coaches, players, and staff of each local school and get the X's and O's before the next games. Join us on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. for the Red Hot Stove League for the latest from the Cincinnati Reds, and stay around for Coach's Corner. During the week, you'll also hear from IU and Purdue coaches, as well as updates from Indy Racing, NASCAR, and the Indianapolis Colts. You'll find us on WSLM 97.9 FM and WSLM 1220 AM, along with live streaming on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Be sure and follow us all season for a front row seat and a closer look at high school and regional sports.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live at the Nader Hater Studios, and I'm your host, Nate Pierce, and got Greg in here in the studio with me tonight, helping me out. And
we're going to try to turn that around, make it the Nader Lover Studio.
The Nader Lover Studio, yeah. There's a couple of them out there. So tonight we're going to talk a little basketball. We may even talk a little football and wrestling tonight. It's going to be kind of whatever happens kind of show tonight, and we're getting close to the end of our season here, and it's getting real exciting. We've got sectionals coming up for boys and girls basketball. I got football on the brain now, Greg. And then we're actually coming into sectionals for wrestling as well.
Okay.
So that's pretty exciting. We had our 106 Braden Walters placed first at conference this year.
Awesome.
So I think that's probably our first place in conference in a long time, if ever. So that's pretty exciting to see that. I've gotten to see a few of our meets down there, and I tell you what, we've got some really good talent coming up through the middle school, the high school, even the youth league. There's a lot of those kids they're going to be really talented.
Good.
My buddy Ryan Steepleton, his son Joe, he's 5 years old and was down there wrestling at the county meet. And
No way. He's only like 2 foot tall.
Yeah, but I tell you what, he's good. I mean, 2 foot tall and out there whooping them.
No, he's really not 2 foot tall.
I tell you, he's all about wrestling. He
awesome.
eats it up. So
that's pretty cool. That's not. I mean, it's good that this program has instilled that in these kids.
Oh yeah, and it was good to get to see Lucas Nail down there. I talked to him on the show a time or two, and getting to actually talk to him. He's such a young man. He was actually wrestling when my son was wrestling.
He's Eastern's.
Yeah, he's Eastern's head coach now, and he kind of stepped up to the plate at the last minute there. He's coaching middle school and high school down there, so he's got his plate full. But the man loves he loves it. He eats, sleeps, and breathes wrestling, and I got to talk to him for a little while, and I can feel his passion, and he's worried about some things that are on the horizon for Eastern wrestling, and but I told him, man, you can't worry about that stuff. Put your head down and just get after what's going on right now. So, I had a good conversation with him, and he's very energetic and a great young man. So,
now in wrestling, okay, when you think of football or basketball, you know that there's certain schools that are strong in either one of those sports, and a lot of times it's up around Indianapolis. Is it the same way with wrestling, or is it kind of spread out more?
The farther north you go, the better they get, it seems. But it is still fairly spread out, because you've got teams like Mater D, Evansville Bossy, Tecumseh. They're really good, and they're over in the southwestern side of the state. Then you get up around Columbus, and everybody in Columbus is good. Columbus East, Columbus North. Avon, they're really good. You get out towards the western or the eastern side of the state, like with Milan. Let's see who else is out there that's really good. Not Southwestern. Southwestern's pretty good too. But the they're in Beebe. What's the name of that school? Switzerland County.
Yeah.
They're really good. Last year they were really small but really concentrated, so they got more mat time, and they were really, really good. This year, their team is huge. They've tripled in size.
I've got the listing. I don't want to go through all 32 sectional sites, but the last few you'll be able to. I think people will be able to pick out some schools. But at South Ridge, there'd be Bedford, North Lawrence, Floyd Central, Forest Park, Jasper, Mitchell, New Albany, Knox, North Knox, Pike Central, South Ridge, and Tell City. Jennings County. Sectional 29, Brown County, Columbus East, Columbus North, Jennings County, Madison Consolidated, Scottsburg, Seymour, Southwestern Hanover, Switzerland County, and West Washington.
Yeah.
The Jeffersonville Sectional 30 would be Borden, Charlestown, Clarksville, Gordon Central, Crawford County Eastern, Jeff, New Washington, North Harrison, Providence, Rock Creek, and Salem and Silver Creek.
Now, there's a couple of little schools that are just kind of getting their programs going. Now, one of them has had a program for a long time, but they're always really small, and that's New Wash. Whenever you see New Wash and they bring 4 kids to the show, they're never going to win a duel, or but they're during the individual tournaments, you'll see 1 or 2 of them, in the semis at least. And they're so small. Like I said, they get so much mat time and time to perfect those moves, and they're awesome. But Borden has only had a program since I want to say 2018 or 19, so they're fairly young in their program. But I tell you what, they have had some studs come through there. There was a boy that wrestled there named Lodi Cheatham, that he now wrestles for Campbellsville University. So I mean, he wrestled at 145, except for his last season. I think he wrestled 152. And Blake McLaughlin, which was our 145 and 152 for that time, he had just a heck of a time with that kid. It seemed like them two were just so matched and compatible as far as how their skill set and their toughness was, that it was just a back and forth battle all the time.
I wanted to do it for Salem, but they didn't have a sumo division.
Well, nowadays, listen, I told you they've got the senior league. I mean, you can just go do that now.
There's probably a weight limit, though.
Well,
I need to get in the wrestling weight.
Yeah. Get back in your fighting weight.
I don't think I might have been in there in high school, but yeah, I'm getting there.
So whenever Mark Karen and I were coaching at the high school together, he was trying to talk me into doing that senior league, and I was like, man, I just had neck surgery. I've got all this titanium. I don't think that's going to work.
I think that would be like a one and done match for a lot of people.
Yeah. What's that hanging out of his neck, Daddy?
Now these take place, it looks like Saturday.
Yes.
And there's 32 sites around Indiana, and it's $7 to get in. Children 5 and under are free. The top 4.
Salem will be at Jeffersonville.
Yeah, just top 4 place winners will go on to the regional.
Now your 5th place will stand as an alternate.
Okay.
So if somebody is injured, we had that actually happen last year with Harley Shockey getting to go to, I think he went to semi-state on an injury. Zane Schreck out of Corden ended up injuring his shoulder.
Okay.
And Harley got the nod. So that, it's important to, to mention that.
Then the regionals are February 4th, and that cuts it down in half to 16 sites, and Jeffersonville's one of those.
Yep. Yeah, then Salem will be at Jeffersonville for regional as well.
$10 a pop for that. Then it goes to semi-state, and it goes up to $12 on February 11th.
And that is usually...
that's at, looks like Evansville.
Yeah.
For that. There's only 4 sites for that. And then the state finals are February 17th and 18th up at the Gamebridge Fieldhouse. And it's $15, or you can pay $25 for all. But they have 3 sessions, it looks like.
Now, I do want to mention that the girls wrestling state championship just happened last week.
Oh, really?
No, 2 weeks ago. Okay. I actually had a friend that her daughter got to compete at state level.
Cool.
And didn't go as well as she had hoped, but she made it to state, and that's their team actually has a dedicated girls team, so they're not wrestling co-ed. They're wrestling strictly girls. So to get that far, in that bracket is amazing.
I had one summer in high school. I did co-ed wrestling, but it wasn't sanctioned. No, I'm just kidding. And I do see here that they have a weight class from 152 to 285, so I'd be right in there.
Yeah, 285 is heavyweight.
Actually, I'd be.
And that's going to be from
well under that.
221 to 285.
Okay.
That's a lot of difference.
Yeah.
We've had kids that couldn't make their 220 weight and had to wrestle heavyweight, and so they're like 222 or something like that, and they're wrestling kids that are scraping the edge.
They're pretty tight on that.
And that gets scary.
You have to weigh in before each match.
Oh yeah. Whenever you get there, you'll see kids in sweat, jogging suits running around trying to sweat out every bit of spitting in bottles, trying to get every bit of they'll chew gum on the bus ride over and spit in the bottle, and every single ounce counts. Yeah, and it gets, and they won't cut you any slack. If you're an ounce over, you're either done or you're bumped.
Huh.
So it's going into a tournament. You got to pre-register ahead of time for that so that they can get all the brackets put together. We'll actually have seating meetings and all that, and we'll talk about okay, well, this kid beat that kid. Their records are better. Who won the head-to-head. So we'll go through and talk about all that. But once you get there, if you don't make weight, you're not wrestling. You're done.
You know how you look at the rosters for basketball and football, and you look out and you see some guy and it says he's 6'4", and he's like 5'11".
Yeah.
I think that sometimes
there's a lot of that going on in Salem last year. Matter of fact, my son's junior year, they had him listed at 6 foot, 235 pounds, and he's barely 5'9".
I mean, is that an intimidation factor for the other team when they get?
Yeah, because that's the information that they're getting. And
Man, these guys have got a bunch of horses on the line.
But the cool thing is they had my son at 6 foot, so that made me 5'11". I'm good to go.
Funny.
But yeah, so pretty excited. I hate this time of year, but I'm always excited about it at the same time because I know that it's drawing close. And, wrestling is the greatest sport in the world. There's no comparison. And, knowing that it's getting ready to come to an end, at the same time, out from a coach's perspective, you're trying to get your kids as far as you can go, but you're also thinking about next season. What am I going to have to do? What am I going to have to schedule throughout the summer, and when can I get a hold of these kids again? And so there's a lot of planning and stuff that goes into that, and getting the right people to help you is very important. I know Coach Andy over at Wslm has had a little trouble with assistant coaches this year, and people they've got so much going on. It's busy time of year, and people are having babies, and you got things you've got to do, and so they did it the best they can. Ryan stepped up. Ryan Stapleton stepped up and helped out as much as he could, and I felt kind of bad because my little girl was the manager. Emily was the manager, and this year she decided she wanted to strictly do photography, and she's been getting some really good pictures at these meets. So Andy was kind of left holding the bag, but he's held it together and really doing good with that team. Even whenever he was coaching middle school and I was at the high school, watching the progress that Andy had made with those kids was just amazing, and they did really good. And I was really, really happy to see him get to take over at the varsity level. So, all right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back, and we'll probably talk a little football.
Okay, good deal.
Becky White from Wslm, and I'm here at the beautiful John Jones showroom in Salem, Indiana for the John Jones Auto Minute.
Hello, and this is Jalen over at John Jones, and I'm here to ring in 23 with you. Here at John Jones, we are ready to help you achieve your New Year resolution. New year, new you, new car. Tired of the troubles your old ride was giving you in 22? Well, that was in the past. Make it a point to upgrade your car and ride through 23 in a safer, more reliable vehicle. We have one of the largest inventories in southern Indiana and several convenient locations for you to shop from. You can see all of our vehicles online at johnjonesautogroup.com or give us a call today at 877-473-5546. And again, this is Jalen over at John Jones. And remember, you've seen so many because they paid so little.
Celebrity Home Loans have been working to give our friends and neighbors in the southern Indiana area the star treatment for the past 2 years, and we'd like to help you find your dream home with the best options for you. Come experience the star treatment with us at Celebrity Home Loans, and you'll never go back to the ordinary home loan experience again. Stop in at 18 Public Square and see us today to check your credit, refinance your current loan, or begin the process of finding a new home. Around the country, Celebrity Home Loans has served over 65,000 families and have loaned over $25 billion. The star treatment means we'll sweat the details of home financing for you. You focus on finding the right home and taking care of your family, knowing we have your back and will be ready to close on time. Come by today and see new branch manager Autumn Scott Hall at 18 Public Square, Suite A, or call for an appointment 812-883-0670. Remember, at Celebrity Home Loans, Autumn and her staff will treat you like a star.
Hoop season is back on WSLM. Whether you're listening to local high school girls and boys basketball, IU or Purdue men's basketball, or the Indiana Pacers, You'll need to get dialed in to the WSLM Sports Zone to follow all the action this season. And what better way to enjoy the game on WSLM than to pair it with great food from Papa John's? Go to your Papa John's app to order for pickup or delivery. Call 812-883-3369 or stop in at their location at the corner of Main and Hackberry Streets. Either way, stop in for a hot, fresh pizza, breadsticks, wings, or desserts, and a cold drink today. And keep your radio tuned to WSLM for hoops action all season long. And to hear more great specials from your Papa John's in Salem.
Country music superstar and coach on NBC's The Voice, Blake Shelton. Back to the Honky Tonk Tour, presented by Kubota. With special guest, CMA and ACM Female Vocalist of the Year, Carly Pierce. And Jackson Dean.
Don't come back, don't come looking.
Blake Shelton. KFC Yum Center, March 9th, 2023. Blake Shelton with special guests Carly Pierce and Jackson Dean. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Blake Shelton, KFC Yum Center, March 9th, 2023. For more, visit BlakeShelton.com. Produced by Messina Touring Group and AEG presents.
Sullivan Feed Mill is proud to support the radio broadcasts of the Eastern Musketeers this season on WSLM. And when you need feed or other supplies, stop in at Sullivan Feed Mill at 80 Grove Street in New Pekin and see their selection today. From hay feeders to fence posts, wire and insulators, and lots more, even for those hard to buy for on your Christmas list. They've got Boggs boots, Burn apparel jackets, bibs, and line hats. You'll find winter feed mixes for all animals to give them the nutrients during the winter, as well as creep feeders and creep gates to feed up your pasture calves through the winter. You'll also find fresh farm eggs at Sullivan's in Pekin. Stop in today at 80 Grove Street in New Pekin and see Junior and the rest of the folks at Sullivan Feed Mill. You can also call 812-967-3472 or find them on Facebook.
Howdy folks, Craig Martin at Billy Martin Store in Martinsburg. I'd like to start off by thanking all of our loyal customers for the support that you give to us year after year. We are the oldest Indiana family-owned and operated business and have been serving you now for over a century. And as the fifth generation of the Martin family business, our family still tries to spend each day making you, our customers, number one in both sales and service. Billy Martin Store carries a complete line of home furnishings, appliances, and floor coverage that should meet any demand that you have. Billy Martin Store sells to you every day at low prices, whether you're building or just replacing. We service what we sell, and we will continue to the best of our ability to stand behind you if a problem should occur. So now that you have the facts, why not make your next purchase from a family that does care about your needs and will be happy to serve you in any way. So check us out, tell your friends to drive on down to downtown Martinsburg, or feel free to give us a call at 967-3997, and we'll be glad to help you.
Hey, Brad, what do you call two birds in love?
I don't know, Becky.
Sweethearts.
Oh, that's a good one. Make a one-stop shop to treat your sweetheart this Valentine's Day at Salem Walmart. Find a variety of stuffed animals, cards, coffee cups, candy, and there's a variety of Valentine's t-shirts, caps, and other clothing too. If you're looking for a special dessert to satisfy a sweet tooth, champagne, sparkling grape juice, or a wide variety of food to prepare that romantic meal. You'll find all that and much more at Salem Walmart.
Hey, Brad, how did the phone propose to his girlfriend?
I don't know, Becky.
He gave her a ring.
Oh, check out the whole wide assortment of jewelry at the Salem Walmart too. You'll find more for your sweetheart for less at your Salem Walmart.
Here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
And we're live.
And we're live. I wish the old Squatch would show up once in a while. You kind of become a stranger to the show.
He's left me on red.
No kidding.
Yeah, he went on.
Wow. Way to go, Squatch. Way to go.
We'll say goodnight. No.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into some football. And
then there were, what, 8?
And then there were 8. I made a post on Facebook the night that we played the Cowboys, the Buccaneers, because everybody knows I'm from Tampa Bay, grew up there, and that's my team. 32 years of sucking and 2 Super Bowls. So I made a post, and I was talking a lot of smack, and I tagged a good friend of mine, Mr. Jeff Medlock, and that didn't age very well because we got our butts whooped. And then I had to, halfway apologize to Jeff. So I figured I'd come on air here tonight and tell you, Jeff, I'm sorry. Cowboys still suck, but I'm sorry.
I mean, looking at last week, really the only team that got really trounced was the Giants. The Eagles put it on them pretty good.
The Giants put it on them pretty good, but now the Bills game, the Bills and Bengals, that was a whooping too. I did not expect it to go that way. I was really expecting the Bills to take that one because my prediction was going to be either the Bills and Eagles or the Bills and 49ers. So
it still could be the 49ers.
It still could be the 49ers, and who doesn't love a Cinderella story?
I didn't think they played very good against Dallas, really.
It took them a little while to get going.
Yeah.
And that's for sure. But
I was kind of hoping Dallas would get them. But
oh no! Not Dallas, not never. No, whenever I was a kid, I was a Dallas Cowboys fan. But
yeah, it was always them and the Steelers.
Yeah, and so whenever I moved to Florida, we had a football team there, so that was my team, and that's where that came from. But I don't know. Once Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and those guys left Dallas, it just kind of went downhill for them, and they've never been back to that same glory.
Now, who were the big players back in the 80s for those two teams? Was it was there Roger
Staubach?
He played for the Steelers.
He played for the Cowboys.
Cowboys, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And with the Steelers, you would have had who was their quarterback through the 80s? I can't even think now. The only one I can see is Terry Bradshaw, and that was a little before the 80s.
Yeah. And he played for
the Steelers.
He was the Steelers.
Yeah, he played for the Steelers.
He's a hoot.
Yeah, he is. Can't sing a lick.
On the bus going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Got him taped to
Jerome,
sure.
The bus Bettis driving the bus.
That's pretty funny.
So yeah, I'm kind of up in the air on the NFC. Well, really, I'm kind of up in the air on the AFC too because the Bengals and the Chiefs. Oh no, we're down to 4.
Yeah, we're down to 4. Yeah.
So the Bengals and the Chiefs are just ridiculous. Patrick Mahomes, my son says that he's a living cheat code. Like he's in the locker room hitting AB / and putting all these codes in because some of the passes that he gets away with,
underhanded or sidearm.
Backyard football is what that is, and he gets away with it.
It looks like the scene in The Longest Yard, the Adam Sandler version, when they were just playing out in the mud.
Yeah,
and they're just, that's the way he looks like.
Well, it always reminds me of the Cowboys this week. That last little play that they had, what was that all about? Did you see the Cowboys game?
But I don't remember the end of it.
The last play, they put Ezekiel Elliott at center, had a wide receiver way down on the bottom side, and then had everybody else stacked up on the top side, and Dak Prescott behind him. Zeke hikes the ball to him, and he immediately gets just flipped over in. And then, Dak Prescott's got all this pressure, and he goes to throw the ball, and he finally gets it off, but as soon as he hit his guy, he got folded up like a pizza box. I mean, it was bad. He just crushed him. So, and in the immortal words of Jimmy Johnson, former Dallas Cowboys head coach, he said, dumb. That was his. The only word he put on Twitter was dumb.
the kicker finally got a couple of.
Well, he did get one block.
That's right.
Yeah. So they.
What in the world? I mean,
I was
they said
waiting.
he hadn't missed one until this previous game, I think, and then he missed all of them.
He missed one the game before,
Oh, did he?
and then he missed 4 in that last game, and then.
Somebody put a mojo or something on him, or
Well, me and my buddy were watching the game, expecting to see a little laser dot hit the top of his helmet. Jerry Jones was not happy.
Didn't somebody come over to talk to him?
I'm not sure.
At some point,
I know that they hired.
You missed this.
They put a. They hired a new kicker onto the practice squad the weekend before, just in case. There's a fake tweet going around of Jerry Jones where it says, if you're in the stadium right now and can kick, meet me on the sidelines. We've got a jersey for you.
I mean, you're about to be at that point. I mean, that's. I mean, at that level, that's.
Yeah,
I mean, you got one wide right, and then you got one wide right and left.
You got 2 wide right, and then overcompensated and went wide left.
Did he ever hit the goalpost once?
Yeah, he hit it that one time, and you at that level.
And he was close enough, I guess, that you could.
Well, yeah, it was just an extra point.
Damn near throwed it in.
Yeah. So at that level, you would expect every now and again you're going to miss. A field goal maybe. Hardly anybody misses an extra point unless somebody gets over there and gets their hand on the ball or whatever. But to miss 4 in one game,
that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Now, it's something I didn't understand, and I've only seen it. I can't remember which night it was. It was either the Cowboys game last week or it was this week, I think, because those are the only 2 I've watched lately. And I have to admit, the only reason I watched the first game was to see the Mandalorian trailer.
I remember you telling me that.
We did stick and watch the rest of it because one of our daughters was bragging about how Tom Brady was going to win the game, and I just had to watch that one on out so I could give it a little bit to her. But anyway, I said the Mandalorian trailer was much more interesting than the. But anyway. In high school, it seems like they go for the extra point quite a bit. Especially, I know West Washington does just about any time they can.
Yeah.
But you don't hardly see in pro they go for that extra 2 points.
Right.
Is there a reason why they don't do that?
Well,
is it harder to get?
Well, because just like we were saying, an extra point is pretty well money in the bank.
Yeah.
A 2-point conversion is not, and if you miss a 2-point conversion, then you're starting to play catch up and you're starting to do the numbers game. And whenever you miss even an extra point, if you miss an extra point, that's going to come back to haunt you. That's the difference in winning and losing sometimes by that 1 point.
Yeah.
So that's what we always say. If you get down there, like it's 4th, 4th and long, and you're on the 30, kick it. Yeah. Take the points. Now I mean, it just depends on who your talent is. I mean, somebody like 5 years ago, somebody like Tom Brady hitting Julian Edelman, that would have been a okay, let's go for it situation. But it's with the way Tom Brady played it was now, and he's still a very, very, very good quarterback. But he's 45 years old. He's still got a lot of heat on the ball, and he can throw for a long ways, but his accuracy is starting to fall off. He's got some of the best receivers in the league with him right now, with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Cade Otton, that rookie tight end. I mean, they're phenomenal receivers, but the ball's got to get to them. What's his name? Gage. He got hurt in the last game. They had actually carted him off the field with kind of neck injury. But I mean, he's a great rookie receiver.
Oh, at the end of the
the Cowboys game.
Yeah.
Cowboys and the Bucks.
Yeah.
So you can't take away from what Brady has done. I know a lot of people hate him, and I hated him too until he got me a Super Bowl ring. So whatever. But it's.
Did you hear the interview he did this week? somebody did it on a podcast, and they asked him.
It's probably his podcast.
They talked about other stuff, but this guy said, "I've got to ask you, what are you going to do now?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, they had to beep him, but he said if I knew what I was going to do, I'd be doing it."
Right. There's a lot of talk about him going to another team, but man, at this point, I don't see him going to another team. There was a lot of talk about him partnering up with Sean Payton and ending up somewhere together, but I don't know. I just don't see that. I'm kind of thinking that Sean Payton is going to end up with the Broncos, and there's no way they're going to bring Tom Brady in there after paying like $243 million to Russell Wilson, who is laying an egg right now. But what do? You got to take that gamble. But there's talk about Tom Brady going to the Raiders, and I don't see that. That's not a smart decision on either part, really. I think he ends up in the booth next year. No, I think he'll end up broadcasting next year.
I mean, that'd be the safe. He's going to get a load of money,
it's guaranteed
and he's
money.
not going to get hurt.
Right.
Well,
Unless he falls down the stairs.
Who took the bolts out of my chair?
Oh, you remember that Deflategate thing? This is payback.
So they got the games this weekend, and then they take a week, 2 weeks off.
Take a week
off, and then come back for the Super Bowl. So.
Yeah.
Now, is that a big event for you to?
Oh yeah, I don't care who's playing. I'm going to watch the Super Bowl.
And who's the halftime this year?
Rihanna.
Okay.
Yeah. Now here's my strategy. If my team is not in the hunt, if they're not in the Super Bowl, I root NFC all the time. Just because my team's NFC. Like I said, when I was a kid, I was a Cowboys fan, so NFC. That's just my logic behind it. Now, that being said, if the 49ers are there, I'm super stoked for the NFC on that one. I think that they can actually play well against either team in the AFC.
Now the Eagles, is this going to be an easy game for San Francisco, or are they pretty Eagles?
They're pretty tough. They're one of the best teams, got one of the best records in the league, and
I would assume if they're in the final two games. But.
Well, I don't know. The Buccaneers made it to the playoffs and with a losing record, 8-9.
Oh yeah.
So didn't go well for them, but we were there. So it's.
And who has that this year? What broadcast is it?
I don't even know. I don't even know what city we're playing in this year. Is it New Orleans?
No, I don't think so. Let's see. Let's ask Mr. Google.
There we go. We got a Google box over there. It'll tell us everything we need to know.
Glendale, Arizona. Out in the probably 80 degrees out there.
What are you finding for me?
Let's see. What network is it on? Fox.
All right. Fox is usually pretty entertaining.
Terry Bradshaw and all those guys.
Yeah. The commentators will be would that be Troy Aikman and Joe Buck on Fox?
Probably.
I think that's right. As long as it's not Chris Collinsworth. Man, I can't stand Chris Collinsworth.
I don't know who.
It seems like every Sunday night game he ends up calling, and that's when the Bucks end up playing. And I'm like, somebody hit the mute button. We'll just watch what's going on, make our own noise. I kind of do this on the side.
Next year it'll be on CBS.
Okay.
I guess they got.
And where's it going to be at next year?
Good question.
Yeah.
Hang on, I might tell here.
It's always cool whenever they do it in Tampa because we got that pirate ship and they shoot stuff out of it.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's the coolest stadium around. I mean,
Well,
we got a pirate
when you look
ship.
up in the sand and the guys are dressed as pirates, so
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Right. Whenever we went last year to the Colts game, the Colts and the Bucks, the Mr. Meany, the guy that's always in the stands with the football, the shoulder pads on with the spikes, he was actually just a couple of seats over from us. That was really cool.
That's cool. Alliance Stadium in Las Vegas next year.
Okay.
February 10th, and then Super Bowl, what would it be?
56? Is that right?
59. 2025 will be in New Orleans.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize we were
Just
getting
down
that
the
far
road.
along. So this is 57?
Yes.
This year? Wow. Well, I'm getting old, Greg.
I think, or is it 47?
No, we're in the 50s.
L is what?
L is 50.
And then V is 55.
Right.
So it's 57. And then next should be 58 and then 59. So.
Well, I'll be.
Yeah.
We're getting old, Greg.
Yeah. And a fun fact, Becky interviewed several times, and I've got, I think it's in the next room. He sent her, but Art Donovan played for the Baltimore Colts back in the day, and he used to call in every once in a while and talk a little football on Coffee Club, and then he's passed away now, but he sent her a jersey.
Yeah.
And signed it. And
well, I have called in on the Coffee Club and talked about wrestling before.
There you go. Send us a jersey.
We don't wear jerseys in wrestling. They're singlets.
Well, I don't know if we want to wash it first and then send it in, okay?
I've actually got, because I was a coach, I've got quarter zips, so they're pretty clean. I've got some of the old vintage quarter zips from where we cleaned out the school, the older uniforms and stuff. So I've got some of the really old ones. I thought they were pretty nostalgic, so I figured we wanted to hang on a few of those.
Boy, in 2025 when it's down there in New Orleans, it'll be right around Mardi Gras time. So that'll be.
Do we really need to mix the two?
Oh my God, that'll be wild.
That might be a good thing depending on who's playing. Get the opposing team out there and get them all sauced up at Mardi Gras and then let them play.
Let's see. Las Vegas will host its first Super Bowl in 2024 at Allegiant Stadium, the new home of the Raiders. The Raiders got them. They had the 2022 draft, and now Super Bowl 58. So they're the Las Vegas Raiders.
They've been the Las Vegas Raiders for 2 years now, I think.
So they were Oakland. And then they were
Oakland, and they were L.A., then they were Oakland
again, and then now they went to.
And I think they went back to L.A. and then went to Las Vegas. And the Chargers are now in L.A.
They were the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, and the Rams are also in L.A.
That's weird.
They always had two teams at that same same spot, so it was. I don't know. I mean, that maybe Los Angeles is just big enough for that. I don't know, but
I've never been, so I don't know.
I don't really desire to.
The only thing I know is that if you drive anywhere, it's going to take you about 2 hours.
Right, and hopefully an earthquake doesn't drop a intersection on you.
Yeah, I haven't heard about it in a while, but Elon Musk came up with this idea to do a pneumatic tube.
Yeah,
and under Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the locations are, but nobody had a way to drill it out, so he invented this big drill, and they've got it out there, and they were testing it. So I don't know if it's in.
They're talking about doing that exact same thing in Louisville.
Oh, I think they were going to do it in different.
But why? Why do you need something like that in Louisville?
So I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah. Look what I got.
Floods or something.
Yeah. Remember the Great Flood?
some DA blows a hole in the Ohio River and it floods it.
That could happen. That could happen. There's somebody out there, dynamite fishing or something and drops their stick in the wrong place.
I saw today in Indiana. Hang on, if I can find it. Yeah, hang on.
I love these random Indiana facts. They're almost as good as the Florida Man stories. I just read a book called Florida Man, and it was the guy that wrote the book took all these headlines and stuff that you see about Florida Man gets arrested for this, and stuffed them all in one character in this book, and it was pretty hilarious.
Well, I thought I could find it here, but oh yeah, it's illegal in Indiana to catch fish using dynamite, guns, or your bare hands.
Like your bare hands? Yeah, you can't doodle in Indiana?
Apparently not.
Wow, that's bad news. Oh. Huh. I always thought that was stupid anyways. Where you reaching in there and going to grab a hold of? You're going
a snapping turtle.
Exactly.
About 3 fingers, because some of them are pretty good size.
Yeah, buddy.
And they are mean. I put a pretty good sized stick in a mouth one time of snapping turtle, and he took it right off.
Yeah. Just imagine if that was your finger.
Bit it like it was a pretzel stick.
And a lot of these dudes don't even wear gloves.
Oh no, there's no way. Or get a snake or something.
Yeah.
But have you noticed, like, their arm when it's all bloody where that?
Yeah,
that,
the abrasive, like
they're not teeth, but
right,
they're like barbs,
like sandpaper.
Yeah. But some of them come out with pretty good sized catfish.
Yeah. Now, would you have ever thought that we'd have been talking about noodling on Coach's Corner?
No.
Here we are.
There is a bass fishing club. We need to.
And that would be cool to get them in here and talk to them a little bit, because I was a member of BASS when I was a kid. Actually won some tournaments for casting and stuff. So
Paul Jolly was big in gym class when he was the gym teacher. We'd cast.
Yeah.
And he had us doing archery and different things that we you normally wouldn't.
Well, I've heard people talk about actually having marksmanship classes back in the day, where they take them out and teach them how to shoot.
Well, we didn't do that. But,
well, we've got a marksmanship club now at Salem. Jim Sparkman is a part of that, I do believe, and that's something that I can get behind. I've always said that being afraid of a weapon is much more dangerous than knowing how to handle it and being respectful of it.
And I have to admit, I'm not I could improve on some of that. So.
Yeah. But that's getting those different avenues of kids to have outlets and things to do around here really makes a whole lot of difference, and it keeps the kids from doing stuff that going to get them in trouble, or that is unproductive and things like that. So and some of that stuff they can use as a skill later on in life. So it's nice to be able to do that. We preach about the things that organized sports teach and set kids up for. They're not just games. These sports are teaching these kids life lessons. That they're going to carry on and become the new leaders of the community. Whenever it's their turn to step up and do so. All right, Greg, we probably ought to take a quick commercial break, and then
I'm going to go funny here. I'm going to play just for you.
All right.
Smuggling eggs from Mexico, the chickens are saying leave us alone. When I reach in and grab a dozen to go, I hope I don't get busted on the way back home.
Sullivan Feed Mill is proud to support the radio broadcasts of the Eastern Musketeers this season on WSLM. And when you need feed or other supplies, stop in at Sullivan Feed Mill at 80 Grove Street in New Pekin and see their selection today. From hay feeders to fence posts, wire and insulators, and lots more, even for those hard to buy for on your Christmas list. They've got Boggs boots, Burn apparel jackets, bibs, and line hats. You'll find winter feed mixes for all animals to give them the nutrients during the winter, as well as creep feeders and creep gates to feed up your pasture calves through the winter. You'll also find fresh farm eggs at Sullivan's in Pekin. Stop in today at 80 Grove Street in New Pekin and see Junior and the rest of the folks at Sullivan Feed Mill. You can also call 812-967-3472 or find them on Facebook.
Howdy folks, Craig Martin at Billy Martin Store in Martinsburg. I'd like to start off by thanking all of our loyal customers for the support that you give to us year after year. We are the oldest Indiana family-owned and operated business, and have been serving you now for over a century. And as the fifth generation of the Martin family business, our family still tries to spend each day making you, our customers, number one in both sales and service. Billy Martin Store carries a complete line of home furnishings, appliances, and floor coverings that should meet any demand that you have. Billy Martin Store sells to you every day at low prices, whether you're building or just replacing. We service what we sell, and we will continue to the best of our ability to stand behind you if a problem should occur. So now that you have the facts, why not make your next purchase from a family that does care about your needs and will be happy to serve you in any way. So check us out, tell your friends, and drive on down to downtown Martinsburg, or feel free to give us a call at 967-3997, and we'll be glad to help you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back and we're live. Greg's going to run down through some basketball sectionals for you, and we'll get to our daily inspiration right after that.
The girls sectionals begin next Tuesday, and Salem opens up. Lady Lions open up against Madison, Tuesday night in the first game. Then Charleston and Corydon play in the second game. Scottsburg and the winner of Game 1 will play in the semi-final game on Friday. And North Harrison and the winner of Game 2 on Tuesday night play in the second game on Friday night. And then the winners of those two games play in the championship on Saturday. West Washington Lady Senators open up at the Borden sectional Tuesday night against South Central Elizabeth. Christian Academy of Indiana and Rock Creek face off in the second game. Borden will play the winner of Game 1 on Friday. Lanesville plays the winner of Game 2, and then they play for the championship on Saturday. Then Austin sectional, Eastern plays Providence on Tuesday night. Henryville and Southwest Hanover plays Wednesday. Clarksville and Austin play Wednesday night. Brownstown plays the winner of Game 1 Friday. Winner of Game 2 and winner of Game 3 play on Friday, and then the championship game is on Saturday night. So hopefully we'll get to follow one of these teams all the way through, and then maybe get on to regionals. Tonight after the show, we'll go right to the pregame show for IU. They'll play at Minnesota tonight at 9 for the tip-off, and then Don Fisher, you'll have him for an hour. Tomorrow night, the last regular season game for the Lady Lions. They'll be playing at Austin. Eastern Lady Musketeers will be playing at home with Henryville for their final game, and then Purdue is at Michigan tomorrow night at 9. Friday night, the Salem boys will play at Austin. Eastern will be hosting Springs Valley. Saturday night, Salem and Eastern, and then West Washington at Shaw Memorial, and then Ohio State plays at IU at 8 o'clock Saturday night. I don't know how much of that we'll get. We'll get back to it as soon as one of the other games are over. And then Sunday, we will have Michigan State at Purdue, and that's at noon. So that's the sports through this week, and then next week we'll have sectionals and some more boys sports. So, and then I don't know if we can get the boys coaches next Wednesday, or I don't know if we may just talk about football.
That'd be all right with me. We'll have a lot to talk about then. One thing I did want to mention is there is, to all you wrestling fans out there that pay attention to NCAA wrestling, there's a lot of buzz going around right now about the Iowa and Penn State meet, about Spencer Lee stepping up to wrestle Roman Bravo Young at the 132 spot. That will be a match of the century. I mean, if that actually is what's going to happen, I don't know. Spencer Lee is, I mean, he's had 2 knee surgeries, but he's still one of the greatest to ever wrestle at 125. And Roman Bravo Young, Aubrey White is just, he's immaculate.
125 seems awful lean.
Yeah, but it is lean, but it's compact. I mean, they are super strong. I mean, you're not looking at heavyweights or anything, but they're.
I thought usually. I mean, of course, I don't know much about wrestling, but I thought wrestlers were not necessarily fat, but
that's wrestling, not wrestling. That's wrestling. That comes on Monday nights.
I know but I thought that they were still more a bulky build.
Well, I mean, they've got weight classes all the way up through there, so
I just didn't realize. Yeah.
But I mean, those little guys, they're compact, and I mean, they're fast and mean. Yeah. He's So I mean, if that match actually happens, that's going to be one to watch.
And when will that be?
I can't remember. If I should have had Nate call in.
Is it NCAA? You said?
Yeah. But anyways, I'll go ahead with our nightly inspiration here. And this is a very short quote, but it is one that I kind of it plays in my mind every day. And the quote is this: "It always seems impossible until it's done." And that quote is by Nelson Mandela. Now, to me, that is almost the same. That plays hand in hand with the old adage, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So it always seems impossible until you're done, and then you're like, man, we did this. So that's something that I carry with me every day. Whenever, even back at the house or in my job or whatever, there's a big task, and it's like, man, it's so daunting that you almost just want to give up on it. But once you just start taking that, take one bite at a time and it gets done, then you realize, man, it can be done. I've just got to put in the effort and I got to put in the time. So that is something that I think about that very often. And for a person like Nelson Mandela that went through the things that he did, to say that, he spent 24 years in prison, and came out and became president of South Africa. I mean, it was, so if anybody knows, about that, about it being impossible until it's done, that's that man right there. So so that's something that I kind of hold close to me.
Patience of Job.
That's right. And
I couldn't even.
Couldn't imagine it, could you?
3 months I've been.
Right. Brooks was here. So I mean, that's it was short and sweet, but that one is one that I think about pretty often, because of that fact that something that seems daunting and makes you want to quit. If you just stick to it and struggle through it, the results are so much better at the end of it.
Now it looks like Purdue's got a guy it's number 3.
Yeah,
right.
they at what weight class?
Oh, I don't have any idea.
What's his name?
Matt Ramos.
He may be a heavyweight.
Spencer Lee's number 1 from Iowa.
Yes, he is.
Patrick Glory, number 2 from Princeton. Killian Cardinal from West Virginia's 4. Liam Cronin from Nebraska's number 5. Michael DiAugustino from Northwestern's number 6. Patrick McKee.
You are definitely not going to say the 125 from Penn State, because he is terrible.
I don't even.
I think he's like.
There's a Ryan Miller from Penn, but not Penn State. No, he's not in the top 33.
Yeah. So.
But it doesn't give weight class. It just gives their senior.
Well, Spencer Lee is 125. So.
Okay.
Oh, but yeah.
That's Division I, and it goes through different things. There's high school. Let's see who's. It didn't give that. Okay, never mind. And it says that national championships are in March sometime.
Right. Did you happen to find when that meet was?
No.
It's not that big a deal.
Is it like a regional or what?
It'll be a dual
wrestling dual schedule. Okay, there you go. Okay, hang on. Get some searching music here. Let's see. That's the Big Ten, isn't it?
Yeah.
Penn State. It's at Penn State.
Yep. I do believe it's at Penn State.
There's one, let's see, January 20th versus Michigan. There's 22nd versus Michigan State. Iowa's January 27th.
Okay, so January 27th.
Yeah, it's at Bryce Jordan Center in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so that's
on the Big Ten Network.
That's Friday.
Yeah, 8:30 p.m.
Boy, I'm telling you, that's if you got a way to watch that, that's going to be. And like I said, they haven't said for sure if Spencer Lee is going to step up, but if he does, that is going to be a banger of a match.
You can listen to the audio on this link, or it says it's on the Big Ten Network. So
okay,
if you got that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that's pretty much all we've got tonight. And
speaking of Purdue, I want to give them a shout out. They're back to number 1 in the basketball.
Yeah, I heard that.
IU got a few votes, but they're still. Even though they won 3 in a row, hopefully tonight they'll make it 4 in a row. Maybe they'll get back in. But the top 5 are Purdue, Alabama, Houston, Tennessee, and Kansas State. And Kentucky is not in it. No. So.
All right. Well, that's all we got tonight, folks. And in our famous manner, we're going to say goodnight to Old Squatch tonight.
As they say, it's a sandwich place. That's a wrap.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a great night and God bless.
After a joint surgery, injury, or illness, Meadowview and Salem Crossing are the best choices for helping you recover. Our Moving Forward rehabilitation program offers a full range of therapies. We're here to help you return home safely with the skills you need to live life on your own terms. Meadowview, and Salem Crossing. 2 great options for your rehabilitation. To learn more, visit asccare.com or call 888-996-8272.
Hoop season is back on WSLM. Whether you're listening to local high school girls and boys basketball, IU or Purdue men's basketball, or the Indiana Pacers, you'll need to get dialed in to the WSLM Sports Zone to follow all the action this season. And what better way to enjoy the game on WSLM than to pair it with great food from Papa John's? Go to your Papa John's app to order for pickup or delivery. Call 812-883-3369 or stop in at their location at the corner of Main and Hackberry Streets. Either way, stop in for a hot fresh pizza, breadsticks, wings, or desserts, and a cold drink today. And keep your radio tuned to WSLM for hoops action all season long. And to hear more great specials from your Papa John's in Salem.
Be sure and set your dials to WSLM 97.9 FM and 1220 AM next week for Coach's Corner Live. Brought to you in part by Salem McDonald's. To get a front row seat into local high school sports here in the WSLM Sports Zone.